1212. Warm welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe. So in this video, washing your car in less than 5 minutes with a handful of detailing products for less than 2p or $2 or whatever stuff we use. Now, first thing you're going to need, this is McKee's Waterless Wash Concentrate, okay? And I dose out around 20 ml in this toe proportioner, which is quite handy. Just twist the top and that scale goes up and down, and you just squeeze the bottle and it fills up and it will drop down to wherever you've set it. So I've got it down to 20 ml there. So we then pop the little lid off, you know, the only annoying thing on there, and we mix that in with just some tap water, yeah? So that gives us a ratio of roughly 1 to 250. Isn't that what it should be? It's like 1 to 254 or something. Don't think the extra 4 ml will matter, or 4 units. So there we go. So very cheap chemical cost. And in terms of equipment, we've got a hog's hair brush, and we've got a noodle wash mitt, which would probably be the way I would do it. I wouldn't get like 500 microfiber towels and keep changing them every time, because I don't get any scratches using one if I'm careful. So I don't think it's what you're rubbing over the surface that matters when it's wet. And the cool thing about this, guys, I have to answer the obligatory "why are you cleaning a already clean car" question, because it will come if I don't answer it. It's dirty, yeah. You can kind of see there that layer of film over it. Well, it's the same with the body panels and everything. It's full of pollen, smudges, grease. You know, look, greasy arm marks where I've been resting. It just needs a clean. But I spent the last 10 hours yesterday busting my balls. My whole body's stiff, and I'm not going to go and bust out all this equipment on my day of rest. Well, it's actually Saturday. But I just want to give it a quick spruce up, which is where this product is great. Now, really, you need 2 hands, don't you? You could spritz over. Some people, you know, I've got some McKees mixed down. Where is it? Rinseless here. You could go around the car, you know, and this will just wet out the dirt a little bit, won't it? It'll give the waterless wash surfactant a chance to just sort of spread and soak. So you can do that, but it costs you time. And I'm not sure it makes too much difference with the scratching or the cleaning, because this waterless wash, none of them have that much in the way of cleaning power, in my opinion. From what I've seen and from what I've tested, they won't do anything to a dirt simulator because they can't degrease. Could you use your waterless wash in a snow foam lance and pre-wash your car? Yes, but it's daft. It doesn't clean anything. It's like a lubricant. Your contact is doing the cleaning, and the waterless wash is just really more of a lubricant. The surfactant doesn't degrease that well. So you're wasting your time using it in a snow foam lance or as a pre-wash. But I suppose if you want to put it in your snow foam lance to put it all over the car, so then you could do a contact wash, that might be half clever. But the whole thing for me of doing a waterless wash is not getting all this equipment out. You know, having to set up. So there we go. We've got a thin layer of it over there. Interesting. Oh yeah. So I've got really good protection on my car as well at the moment. You can see it's breaking through even now with this waterless wash. And the surface feels really slidey, which is always a good sign, I think, when you're cleaning. And all I want to do is get all of the panels. I'm not so worried about, I might do the wheels at the end, but I'm not so worried about them. I'm not so worried about like the engine bay and all the runoff gaps. I just want my car to look clean from a sort of layman's view, you know, from a sort of standing 5 meters away view, which is all I want. Now, there's those main panels done. Now, the thing with waterless wash that I said, if you miss anywhere, so because I'm not doing underneath here, this is a bit difficult. When you've finished and you've dried the car off, the bits you've missed are dirty. You don't get that so much when you pre-wash and you use contact wash shampoos, because the pressure washer just gets everywhere and you blast out everywhere, so you don't tend to miss anything. Also, I don't find this works that well on glass. It's all right. It's all right for exterior glass, I guess, because exterior glass gets clean. It doesn't get all the greasy grime on it that the interior gets. But again, because this stuff doesn't degrease, I don't think it will make a good interior glass cleaner. But you could clean your exterior glass with water and wipe it and it will still do a half decent job. Right, so you can just see I'm working my way around the car. You're probably a bit dizzy. When wouldn't you use a waterless wash? I wouldn't use a waterless wash when the car's really dirty. I tend to use them in summer when I can't be bothered to wash the car. They make a lot of sense to me for certain things. They make a massive amount of sense as clay lube. They make a massive amount of sense as a little sort of showdown, you know, show clean or whatever. If you want to keep your car in a really good condition, but you don't want to sit there washing it with getting all your gear out every week, then that's the reason to use them. I do have these little water spots there that they will, just that bit of contact with these will lift. See all that sort of stuff. I don't like doing this, you know, in terms of, it's not the safest thing to do, but it's safe enough, trust me, because I'm not putting any pressure in, and I won't when I dry either. You're not going to be swirling up the paint. I think you swirl up the paint when it's dry and you buff hard on stuff when there's grit involved. You know, that's when you swirl it up. And this isn't going to be the most thorough thing. I'm so stiff I can barely bend down. So stiff. Right. Have we done all that? I can't even remember if I've done down there. I haven't, have I? Right, so let's do this again. I think lots of solution is always a good idea as well. And you'll always notice if you do a waterless wash, just pinch on any plastic seals because it will look clean, because when the water runs down it, unless you get that microfiber in along that line, and then under that line, you'll have a dusty bit when you're finished. You don't want that. So let's just go along here. Apologies if you can hear me breathing like, you know, someone who doesn't have my superhuman levels of fitness. I don't today. Oh, I'm struggling today. Even this feels heavy. And I can feel myself even starting to sweat now. Go swimming later on there. That'll sort me out. Right, you'll be careful you don't miss any, because you will see it. Ooh. Right, now, if you're being really thorough, which I suppose we should be, all these little crevices here, if you don't get in them and clean them, when you dry it off, you see the little dust bits that you miss. So just get in there with that brush. I'm not going to lift up that and do all that. I'm not going to bother with the window seals. We've been over that. Well, and what we'll do now is go around here and we'll do the other side. Quite interesting. I've been doing those shorts on what would you do, you know, if you dropped your wash mitt. A, would you throw it in the bin? B, would you stop using it and get another one, put it in the washing machine, then wash it, and then you'd be okay? Or C, would you just sort of like dunk it in the bucket and carry on going? Find it quite interesting, all of the replies on that sort of stuff. If I dropped my wash mitt on the floor, like I could do it right now, I would go and dunk it in that bucket and carry on washing. Why? Because it's already going to pick up bits of grit and dirt that are on the surface. If I drop it on my workshop floor, which is reasonably clean, okay, it's going to get a bit grit and dirt on it. I'll go and clear it off. I guess if it's a £200,000 Ferrari or something, or when I drop it outside, you know, I'd probably go get another wash mitt. I would, but I think generally with this whole dropping thing on the floor, there's a little bit more panic than there needs to be. Or not really, but people are like, with the thing with detailing is some people are really like, they talk this game as if they've got this like level of care to certain things, and I don't think that level of care is genuine if you actually looked at that person. If they were really that way inclined, you drop something on the floor and you throw it away or whatever, because you're so worried about the micro scratching it puts on your car's paintwork, you'd struggle to get up out of bed in the morning, wouldn't you? You'd be ironing your underpants and, you know, like tiptoeing around so you don't put dents in your carpet or whatever. You know, the world doesn't work like that for me. And I think a lot of it's just talk. That's what I've come to the conclusion. And I don't think many people really walk that walk. They talk the talk, but I don't think they walk that walk. You know, John, you talk the talk. Do you walk the walk? I don't walk the walk. I just really, you know, this is what I do for a full-time thing. And I love talking about it, and I love occasionally doing it, and I love the product side of it. I don't do anything particularly different to any of you guys at home, really. I've probably just, because I do it, I've got the time to sort of clean this a little bit more, and a lot of you guys will be doing a job, and you'll have the weekend to do your car. So I'm gonna, if you were in my situation doing what I'm doing with YouTube, I think like at least half of you would just do a better job of looking after your car than I do. There's nothing clever about anything I do. In fact, you know, I can be very lazy with my approach sometimes. Like, this is very lazy for me. But what we've done here, have I even done under there? I don't know, I don't care. Let's just do those little seals here. I haven't done the back either, have I? So I'll do that. I've got to lift the garage up, so I'll do that when I finish. No, I'll do that now. I'll do it now. Oh no, I won't bother. Oh, did I get that? Oh, that's okay. Right, sorry, just bear with me. This is, I should have brought the car forward a bit more, but this will do. My wife's holiday roast. That will do. So I'm doing a terrible job on cleaning my backside. But that'll do. So there's the easy bit done. Very rapidly, hardly any water used. I could leave this bucket here. I wouldn't do that. Just chuck it. The chemicals, not worth the money. You never have any problems as well. Sorry. You never have any problems with this stuff hurting your skin, which is another thing I like with the waterless wash. They seem to be quite safe on your body and all that sort of stuff. I'm not sure about those ceramic shampoos, how safe they are. This is, I guess, the important bit is that you don't want to pressure into your paint, because this clean isn't as deep as a proper wash. Now you see where it's still wet, that will just slowly disappear. But I'd rather have that little bit of moisture on there than me buffing hard. Okay, so it's just going to be a gentle wipe down, a very gentle wipe down, and then we'll blow it out with the blur. All the little gaps in there and stuff. I'll probably even leave those. Yeah, I'll probably leave those, so I'll end up kicking up more dust. But, you know, you could blow it all out if you wanted to. Would you go on a detail spray on top? No, probably not, because you could do again, but I think with this level of wash, there's still going to be little bits of dirt kicking around. And that's just, you're going to be contacting on your paint again. And I think I don't need to, really, because it's all wet. It's like when you use a detail spray, I'd come back in and go over those finger marks potentially, but because it's all wet, just that little dry over there will sort it all out. So another real good positive of waterless washes, you never get any streaking with them, because they're so low concentration. You know, they're really good on that sense. You know, you can see there on my roof, you know, there's nothing, you know. Okay, what's that there? Is it a bit of streaking, or is that just I think it's just the light, something showing there. This is just moisture, yeah, so don't worry about that. But when that moisture just evaporates, that should be a good finish. We'll just let that dry, just wait for a second. But you know, they're not streaky. It's almost like just water. It's a slight film, but nothing to worry about. I'm just going to work from the topish a little bit. So we'll go and get this bonnet done. We'll go and get this side of the roof done. Obviously, as your towel gets wetter, it's going to leave a lot more film on the car. So the towel's at its best when it's dry. Yeah, and then it becomes a bit of an applicator as it gets damp. We've talked about that enough times. But these towels are very good, aren't they? These twisted loop towels. Right, let's just get the glass wiped. It's glass. It's worth pointing out, you would be mad to do this with a camera in your hand because you need two hands to towel dry a car, but I can just about get away with it because it's not the biggest of drying towels, but I'll just do along here. Normally I'd be a bit more careful. But the key thing I think is when you're drying, just don't chuck loads of pressure and just glide over the paintwork, mop it all up. And by now, I think you've got the idea of what we're doing. Let's just get all that down there. You can see I've got a bit of grease on the inside. Glass, that's just going to bug me. Just use the towel. Don't always need a, glass cleaner. It's just a little smudgy, greasy thing. Oh, maybe you do, because that didn't work. Maybe it's on the outside, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's on the outside. Ignore what I just said. So, there you go. It's still drying a little bit on the bonnet. But that is a quick way of washing your car. Now, how good? Marks out of 10, how good is what I've just done? So 5 would be your average car wash that you do. This would be like a 1 or a 2. That's being generous. But it gets you 99 or 90, finger in the wind alert, it gets you 90% of the way there, because when you take the car out and you drive, the car looks good. And when the car's sat on the driveway again, the car looks good. Not perfect though, so you have to settle for that. But it's all about pros and cons, isn't it? I don't think you'd ever, you use waterless or rinseless. Rinseless, same sort of difference. You use it when you can't use a pressure washer for whatever reason, but you cannot beat a pressure washer. Like, there's no way you can beat a pressure washer for getting in there. It does so much work. The push of the water does so much work. It gets into so many places. You cover so much ground faster with a pressure washer, and that degreasing action is brilliant. But there are downsides that we're all using a lot of water to clean our cars every week that you could say is a bit unnecessary, a bit time consuming, all the electricity to run all the equipment, whereas really maybe we should be saving the planet doing this. I think it's balance, isn't it? So for me, like I say, when I can't be bothered to clean it because it feels like I've been doing nothing other than cleaning, then this is a good little cheat, just so I can drive my car without feeling like it looks like, it's nice to have your car looking good, especially in the summer. You don't want to be driving around, it all looks rubbish. The better it looks, the more like people are like, hey, nice car, man. When you're driving around, it looks horrible. People just think, it could be a lot better. But anyway, I do it for me, not for other people. I'm funny like that. So let me know your thoughts on rinseless wash. We will be gearing up to doing a best of rinseless wash in the foreseeable future, probably after the ceramic sprays, which will be interesting. My hypothesis is it won't make a damn bit of difference which one you use, and I'm not even sure if I'll be able to test and find any differences between these products in testing, because they'll be so close. And they'll all be running at the same, you use them all at the same ratio, even the English ones, you know, waterless washes, you use them around 1 to 254 or whatever it is. So there must be a common surfactant in there that's effective at that ratio. So it makes me think that the actual, the amphoretic surfactant, sounds clever, doesn't it, is the same material all around the world. And then the formulation's just different, but they've got the same amount of amphoretic surfactant in there. And then they might put some other materials in there to change them, because they're not all the same. But do those other materials really make that much difference? The key thing with the Rinseless is you want, when you wipe it at the end, for it to have not left anything on your car. Or if it does leave stuff behind that is there, then that's not a good thing, because it's going to affect, you know, you want to see your protection doing the work, really, don't you? If you're using sort of, you know, if you've got a regime in place that you really like, you don't want the Rinseless to interfere with that. If I've called it waterless earlier on, yeah, Rinseless, I do know the difference. But it's just one of those things that I have a little brain fart with, and I always call them waterless washers, because that's just what I call them. Yeah, so there we go. Thank you very much for watching. It will be a cool lineup, though, I think, for the Rinseless wash comparison. I think, you know, if we can get 10 good ones in there, they'll all have to. I'm looking for good offerings, so they'll all be concentrates. I'm not recommending to anyone you go and buy a waterless wash that's already mixed, because a litre of waterless wash will cost you literally pennies, and you could go and buy the ready mix ones, and they could cost 15, 16, 17 pounds. Yeah, right, okay. You know what I mean? You're just getting done over. You might argue you need it, and the brands are just providing a service for those that want it. But yeah, you are getting done over. So here we go. Thanks for watching. Bye. Doug.